All right, once again, it's Corey with Elite Custom Golf Carts, and we're back to show you how to put side steps on an Evolution D5 Ranger 4. Actually, the first step of the process doesn't have anything to do with the side steps themselves. We've got to prep this cart to be able to mount them. So, step one, you're gonna get a drill with a Phillips head. You've got to remove these fender flares on the front and the back, and we've also got to remove these side plastics. So first steps first, we're just going to start removing all these screws that hold all this plastic together. You got 3 in your front fender flare. We're also going to need to remove the bottom screw right here. And that just frees this up more, that I'm able to get this plastic out. We're gonna also remove all these screws going down the side of the plastic. I always like to just leave whatever screws I get from different parts of the cart right where they go. I'm gonna take the 4 screws out of the back fender flare. So to get these fender flares off, they can be a little tricky sometimes. I try to grab from the top and pull, as you can see, I'm gonna create a gap in the top here, and that's gonna prevent me from, when I pull up, damaging the paint. Just pull it off like that. The front, kind of the same premise, except it slides in this way. So you wanna kind of grab it from here and pull it backwards. We've got a couple more screws that are in this plastic that are gonna help us pull it off. This one right here in the back, in front of your rear tire, going into that side plastic through the body. We're gonna remove that. There's another hidden screw right here where the 2 side plastics meet. You've got one little screw right there. It's the same exact kind of screw as all the others. That one's gotta come out as well. And that just gives you a little more flex right here in the seam to be able to get them both out. Just like the screw that was in front of your rear wheel, right here behind your front wheel, we've got one right here going into the body and into the plastic as well. We're gonna remove that. All right. Now, sometimes, this is kind of tight. I've got everything that actually holds all this in out. I'm gonna remove this top screw right here just to loosen this whole panel so that I can kind of finagle that out like that. Now this kind of goes back in behind that, so it can be a little funky to get out. And if you need any more help, you can get it out with what I took out. There's another screw that's right up in here, and that'll just let you move this a little more, so that when you go to, especially when you go to put it back together, you've just got a little bit of leeway to get it all out. And if you can tell, that's just really freed this up. Same thing in the back. It's just gonna be like a strong hands, and then wiggle the back out, because that, this goes in behind that. So you just wanna kind of don't be too manhandful, but out and then down. Once you remove all this plastic, you can start kind of figuring out exactly where you want your step to be. So the placement that I like is going toward, leaning up against this little frame piece, and right there. And if you look, that gives you a good spot to put your right foot on the thing and then swing your left foot in without it hitting the seat. So that's the kind of spacing I like to think about. But you're free if you're right-handed or left-handed, if you want it to be more towards the back so you can swing your right foot in. That's all up to you. This is just where I like it. I'm right-handed. I like to swing my left foot into the cart first. So that's where I put it. Once you've got this thing slidden to the front like this, your brackets are sitting inside this little square right here. So what you want to do is, you want to kind of follow your leg up like this into the middle of this, and then just mark a hole right here. And then same thing on this side. We're gonna go straight up this bracket, up, and about midway up, we're gonna mark a hole. Bada bing, bada boom. Maybe a little bit lower here. And then we're just gonna drill all the way through this. Oops. That was a little much. All right, so once you've got your initial holes drilled through the frame, you're just gonna pick this back up, hold it into position, verify that when you're looking through, you're seeing the bracket, and then we're gonna mark holes in this. Once you've marked your holes, you're just gonna go drill right back into that same spot. Now you can always put this in a vice grip. You know, I'm just a trained professional, so I just do it on site. Make sure you don't got any aluminum in here. I don't know if many of you know this, but aluminum rusts pretty easily if it's exposed. So you don't want any of it in your card or dripping anywhere, because it will rust anything it touches. So got your hardware, I dumped it all out right here. You're just gonna go one screw, one washer, one screw, one washer. We're gonna hold this up behind here. I'm gonna string it through the frame and through the seat. Then I'm gonna take a washer and a nut for each side. You're gonna go washer first. Go washer first and then nut. I like to just kind of get it finger tight just to make sure everything's held good. Same thing on the other side. Gonna shove that bolt through. Got a washer and then a nut. These bolts and nuts are 13 millimeters. So you see a 13 millimeter wrench. I'm just gonna put this on my nut on the back and a driver on the front. We're just gonna tighten this up. So you can hand tighten these as well. I'm just using the drill for the sake of time. But once you got it all secure, you're basically done. We're gonna move on back and start mounting the rear one before we put all the plastics back on. So same process as before. I'm gonna try to get this and figure where I wanna mount it underneath the cart. Once I looked at this cart from the outside and kind of figured out what I wanted to do, I found out that these 3 back braces right here in between towards the front one is where I think is most comfortable for me to put it. On these rear ones, you're kind of locked into position here because of all the other braces. If I try to go on the other side of that, I'm blocked up on that. If I try to go on the other side of that, I'm blocked up here. So this is really your only spot you can do it. Now I'm just gonna hold it there. I'm gonna mark my spots and then I'm gonna drill my holes from the other side. Get both of those drilled out. We're gonna do the same thing we did in the front. We're gonna hold this bracket up to it from behind. I'm gonna mark me a little mark in the bracket. So once again, we're gonna get a bolt with a washer and a bolt with a washer. We're gonna hold this up behind it. We're gonna go through the frame and through the side step, and the same thing in the back. So you're gonna go washer on this side, and then string your nut on. Same thing on the other side, washer first, then a nut. If you wanna watch from this side, since you saw it from that side the other time, I'm just gonna put, the way you put this wrench in here is kind of important because you can't really get it up in there. So you're gonna hold it like this. And the same thing over here. So hold it on there like that. And that's plenty tight. Ain't going nowhere. If you want to look at it from this side, now we've got both of our side steps installed and super sturdy. I'm 200 pounds. I have a lot of people doubt these things because they say they're aluminum. They ain't going nowhere. Now that we've got it all secured and nice, we're just gonna put all the plastics back on. So this is your rear plastic. You'll know because it's only got one tab in the rear and it just kind of sits in this area right here. Kind of want to get that tab in behind the body right there and just kind of fold it in like that. Now with these side steps on here, this isn't gonna fit exactly like it used to because this plastic is gonna sit up against the side step on the bottom. But have no fear, once you put all the screws in and get everything secured, you really can't tell the difference at all. It's a difference of a couple, degrees of an angle. When you come to the front, you got to get this in behind this. This piece is a little difficult to get in there. As you could kind of see, I was kind of working it. So the top of this plastic, this body piece has an L back here, and this fits into that L. And then you have to kind of pull this over it. I'll pull it apart just to show you again. So you got to go in behind the body right here first. And then you want to kind of push it up and over, and then push this down into it. If that's a little bit better for you. Sorry, it took me a little bit of doing to kind of remember how I had to do it. Once you've got both of these kind of up here, kind of want to kind of join them together, but make sure your rubbers are all underneath and you're not binding anything up. So what I like to do is start off with these 2 screws that kind of hold everything together. Like get that one down, and then that phantom one that I told you that's underneath here that you'd never know is there. This is just gonna hold these 2 pieces together and keep them from getting all messed up while I'm trying to fit everything back together. This does kind of create a little bit of an angle because, like I said, this is resting against your side steps. That's perfectly normal. It's not gonna keep us from getting the cart together back like it was. We're gonna go straight down in here. You wanna push everything together to make it look flush as you drill all your screws in. This one that holds the bottom into the body, and go right in here. I wonder if that's gonna be kind of almost impossible to get to go in there or not. All right, got that one back in there. Then we're gonna go this top screw right here. And then the bottom is going to be your longer screw. Like I said, whenever you're putting these screws back together, it's always a good idea to kind of make sure you're shoring up all your little gaps. And that one holding the body to that. You're basically all good with your side plastics right there. And that's basically the look that you're going for with this. And the reason that I place them where they are, I always think, right foot and then step up like this. Same thing on the back, right foot, step up like this. And then all we have to do now is put our fender flares back on. The opposite of how you took them off. You're gonna kind of line all these up and push it forward.
Can you do that again, Parker?
You got these 4 mounting things. We're gonna line these up with this and then just push it forward. Pretty simple. The back one, your rear fender flare is a little more, a little more difficult, a little more accurate with how you got to put it in. The way I like to do it is, you see this, kind of bend that out a little bit. It's gonna go in there. I like to line that up and kind of press it in. While I'm holding this with my left hand, there is a little slot right there that this little knob goes in. And I line that up and I shove it in there. And that gets your back in. And then you come around to the front. You've got a little clip right here that goes in that little slot. Clip that in. There's one more clip at the bottom. And boom, it's on. Then you just got to put the 4 screws in to hold it. One thing about these fender flares is you got clips in here behind them, and the clips are mounted in the wheel well. And sometimes you may have to flex, in here to make that thing line up, but usually they line up pretty well on their own. Then you just got 3 more for your front fender flare. One right here in the middle. Oh, and that's it. Now you got side steps installed on your D5 Ranger 4. These are available on sale at EliteCustomGolfCarts.com. Thanks for coming.